another chance to catch this. In case you're wondering who's the realest. The name unforgettable.
The Dream 3 podcast, episode number 39. We've been gone for a little bit, but we got a bunch to talk about. The NBA Finals just happened. The NHL Finals are going on right now. The Midwest Monster just happened. And are we going to think about buying a card store? We'll let you know. We're back, episode 39. We've been off for a little bit. So much has happened since we originally planned to do this podcast. We just got caught up in a bunch of things going on.
I lost power.
Neil lost power. But in the sports world, just the amount of things you could start, especially with what you're wearing right now, the golf world turned upside down with the LIV Tour and the PGA going back and forth. Like, what a great opportunity. And then the PGA, the commissioner of the PGA, coming out and using 9/11 references, and just was
he's trying to do everything he can. And what he really should have done is just stuck to the facts. The PGA Tour is the PGA Tour. Stop worrying about your money. Just go win tournaments.
Exactly.
You make all your money with sponsorship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Tiger Woods never complained in however many years he dominated. He didn't complain about that. So stop. Phil Mickelson, I am so glad at the U.S. Open people went there to watch him absolutely lay a debacle. I think the entire golf world was happy to see that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of competition. I think is better for everything. If the PGA embraces the competition, they'll come out better in the long run. Because if you think about it, it's almost like the WWF and WCW. A lot of people are jumping to the LIV Tour / you'd call it WCW because of guaranteed contracts. These guys are getting the guaranteed $100 million, $200 million, payouts and money wise, and that's attractive in the short term, but long term, how does that tour play out? Like, is it sustainable? Is it going to be able to last for more than, 4 or 5 seasons?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you're 100% correct. I mean, having a competition between those two, you could even make something out of it. You could make a PGA Tour versus LIV Tour, type end of the year, golf match. And I think that would be great just for golf, period, to have two competing businesses try and see who's better. I think that's great for golf, especially if you don't know how many times Tiger's going to play anymore, so you got to have something to carry. So, and I like Rory kind of standing up for the PGA Tour and kind of just giving the hammer down on some of these guys who have left, just kind of giving them the business. And I think I admire that, and I think that's kind of helped Rory boost a little bit of his following, but also I think it's boosted a little bit of the PGA Tour's following, having a guy like that be in your back pocket.
I think there's no such thing as bad publicity. And I think it helps golf as a whole, because now the eyes of the world were on golf for a couple days and trying to see what's happening, and everybody was talking about it. So as there could be negatives, there's positives, but still you have the world's attention, and it's, when everybody's paying attention to you, that's your time to make a big move. Find out, later down the line if the PGA made the right move. LIV Tour, can go on, but something to watch, something to definitely be in discussions about. It's going to be fun to watch it play out as we go down to the majors.
Yeah, I hope there's I hope for just the sake of golf, they let everybody just play in the majors, because the majors are honestly the most important part. But outside of that, I'm okay with having 2 separate leagues where people can go play against. That's fine. I'm still team PGA Tour, and I hope they kick everyone's ass. But, I understand if you want to go get your money. It makes sense.
100%. moving on from golf, another thing we were going to talk about before we had our long break was UFC 274 or 275.
Yeah.
Yair versus Glover. I don't know if you got to watch the fight or watch the highlights, but what a knockdown, drag out, war between Yair, who's still seems to me a little rough around the edges, and Raw, and Glover, who's
Raw.
as old as they come. But man, it was a great battle all the way down to like the last 30 seconds of the fight. That whole card, top to bottom, it was pretty sad watching Joanna get spinning back fist KO'd. She retired. Shevchenko got exposed by who she fought. So, but top to bottom, I think that was a really killer card. And even this past weekend, the UFC Fight Night card on what was it? It was an ESPN card that was pretty good. So the UFC
was it down in Austin or something?
It was down in Austin. Yeah.
Joe Rogan was a spectator, not a commentator.
Cowboy Cerrone and Lausanne's card got canceled for like the second, third, fifth time in a row. Two old guys who, let's go. We love those guys, but it's not 2009 anymore, and we kind of don't want to see them fight. So just move on. But good card, top to bottom. Sports world. Let's see. Golden State finally won. We all know Steph Curry. He carried that team. You could have gave him the Finals MVP Game 3. I mean, without Steph, Golden State's really nothing.
It was interesting because it wasn't the fact that like Golden State looked like the old Golden State from a few years ago, and it wasn't the fact that the Celtics had a really good defense. Both teams honestly kind of played bad in the entire series, and it just really came down to Steph Curry just being Steph Curry, and that's that. I mean, granted, it's his first Finals MVP, but it's about time. It's about time we saw one of those go to him. So, was it just me, or was the finals, or not the finals, but were the NBA playoffs this year just trash?
Terrible? Just terrible.
Absolutely awful. There was much better. If you wanted to just watch sports and competitiveness, the NHL far outplayed the NBA as far as series, games, competitiveness, excitement. The NBA playoffs were just dreadful to watch. Absolutely dreadful. It was bad. So kudos to the Warriors. My Avalanche are in the Stanley Cup Finals. Hopefully we can win this. We're up 2-0. So
they're up 2-0 with a 7-0 beatdown last game.
Yeah, last game. Hopefully we don't give up 4 straight.
So I don't know if anybody has any first year flawless national or 13-14 national treasures hockey laying around, but get ready to break that stuff out.
Yeah, please do, because I will gladly buy boxes and cases of it for fun.
All right, one thing I really wanted to touch on this past weekend was the Midwest Monster. It was a card show that was put on here in Fishers, Indiana, kind of brought together by Andy from Indie Card Exchange, an idea of his. And then you also had some of the biggest names in the industry. You had Ryan Card Collector 2, you had One of One, you had Mealy Pops, you had Ribq, you had Mojo Sports, you had, some of the biggest. Yeah, some of the biggest players in the game were there and set up. And I'll tell you what.
Did Sasha come down for a day?
I did. He may have. I did not see him on Saturday. He may have came Friday. But when I got there Saturday afternoonish.
There were some other big guys that came.
There was a lot of big guys, of the YouTube guys. Big name guys. So to me, it felt like a mini national. Like it was wall to wall packed in that basketball arena, and just like the same stuff you would have saw in the national, and not just cards. I mean, there was memorabilia, there was Pokemon stuff, there was all kinds of things. But man,
what did you notice was the most prevalent, or what people were buying?
Josh Allen. A lot of people were making Josh Allen deals. A lot of people, especially the big.
Do you think he is overrated?
I don't think he's overrated. I just think
Do you think he's being hyped up way too much?
100%. I think he's very, especially this offseason, the Bills and the power rankings are number one. That puts a lot of hype and a lot of pressure on Josh Allen's back. So I think, we always talk about good times to buy, good times to sell. As the hype's getting more real right now, I think right now is your buying point. This is your max buying point on Josh Allen. Because right after this, once we get closer, let's see, we're in June, July. Once you hit August, that might be your selling point for Josh Allen before the season starts. If you're in the high tier stuff.
I feel like from what I've seen is it comes Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, as far as who's been the most desired offseason player. And like I like Josh Allen as a player. He's the MVP favorite. They're trying to build a narrative around that. But time and time again, what we've seen from Josh Allen is kind of this, peaks and valleys throughout the season. He doesn't like Lamar stole the show when he won his MVP.
Yeah. Aaron
Rodgers last year had 40 touchdowns and like 4 interceptions, and 3 of them were in the first game. So, I just don't know if Josh Allen is going to be able to carry that team all the way. It remains to be seen. He hasn't won a big game yet.
True.
So why put hype on a guy who can't even make it to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with you. But it seems to be in the card world that he's carrying the most hype right now. And from what I just saw being there for a couple hours, there were people with big time Josh Allen's cards that were trying to make plays with, move back and forth. Especially when I was over at RibQ, couple. I don't know if they were rookie contenders. But a couple on-card PSA 10s to Josh Allen rookies that they were trying to deal back and forth. But there was a lot of stuff there. I tried to go up and down the aisles, try to find things that I like. Didn't spend a lot of time in dollar boxes or, really searching through boxes. Some guys had some low-end slab stuff that I thought was cool that I didn't really pick time but I stayed with all the big dogs. That was kind of my goal to see, what would they bring? What would they do? And obviously, if you looked at my Instagram, I got, a card that I'd been looking for on eBay for a long time and had lost out on. And I actually got a good deal on it. They cut me some slack on it, which was cool. And then went right over to Ryan and dealt with one of his guys and got that Sammy Sosa game used. But it was really nice to see everybody was willing to deal. Everybody was willing to trade. Everybody was willing to do cash. It just seemed like a really good event.
Yeah. It seems like card shows seem to be where most of the action is happening, not in from like a just truly from all true aspects of collecting, from trading and cash. Like, people don't want to buy anymore. I've seen way less people are willing to put money towards stuff. They're much rather trading. And I think part of it is the down market right now, because we are in kind of this lull, this dip. But it's interesting to say that people were using cash at the show. It makes me think, maybe people are saving it for shows. Rather than trying to make deals online.
Another thing is I saw a lot of people buying bulk lots. Like, I don't know if you
probably for the National, I would assume, right?
I saw Mojo. He bought a bulk lot of 6,000 cards. So, like you said, there could be people getting ready for the National and getting ready to move through that. But, I think buying was good and well. Now, what I heard was they're going to do another one in October, which I think as well as this did. And you had people come from Florida, from all California, from where all over the place to come to this. And I think it turned out really well. And it was not, as Andy and those guys said, it wasn't very well promoted. So what would it be if there was a Midwest show, like a major Midwest show, not a
Yeah.
national type? If we got more national type shows, especially being, 4 hours from you, an hour from me, like, see this thing grow and grow, I think it'd be something pretty cool.
Yeah, if you can make like Dallas has that southern side of the United States, like the South Middle. If you could see regional shows pop up more where people are going to every few months, or every couple months, I think that could be really good, because it gives a lot of opportunity. It seemed like everybody really enjoyed the Midwest Monster, and Chicago was going on at the same time, so that seems really good. I wish I would have made it. It still sucks that I couldn't go, but I mean, things happen. So.
Well, shoot for October. There was obviously, I was looking for game use stuff, and that was really hard to find. RibQ had the most of it that I found. A lot of first year flawless stuff, and the stuff that I sent you was the stuff that was in my price range. The Randy White out of 15.
Yeah.
Obviously the Larry Zonka that I bought.
Was the Warner that you found, was that game used?
Player
worn?
Because if it was game, it was out of 3, and I was like, I'm going to make a move on that.
Yeah.
But in the case next to that, he had a couple Namath game used. He had a couple Staubach game used. Emmett Smith. Like, that was the 12, $1,500, $2,000 stuff that he had of game use, which was also, kind of good to see, raw cards going, a couple $1,000s plus, not staying in the hundreds. That was also, there was a lot of high priced cards, a lot of high end Patrick Mahomes stuff was there. One table was purely Patrick Mahomes rookies, Patrick Mahomes patch auto rookies. Like, there was a lot of good product all around. A lot of boxes, a lot of wax, a lot of.
You're making me feel more bad about myself now.
I mean, to me, no joke, it reminded me a lot of the National. I mean, there were 350 dealers there.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff going around. Now, talking about card shows, I'm still talking with Josh about this, but we might actually go set up as a vendor for the Kokomo card show July 9th. I haven't talked to Schlater about that yet, but I think we got enough stuff together that we might go out there and, be a part of our first card show as a vendor. Because I think I got a good enough stuff built up. Just like to go, kind of like any other card show, go up there, see what everybody else has, and try to make some things happen.
Yep. All right. Moving on. Next topic.
What topic you want to talk about?
Well, what was the next one on our list? Come on, you're supposed to be the show host here.
I know, but
I'm just here to look like a clown.
Well, you do a very good job of that.
I know I do.
So the next topic was kind of like the, what we wanted to talk about the last couple of days, like flirting with the idea of, could we possibly open up a card shop in the future?
Yeah, I think it's possible. The location would be interesting, because I feel like if you go to Indianapolis, I think there's a couple shops that kind of take over, but I mean, there is a potential to be another shop in Indianapolis.
Yeah, because in Indy, you think of Indy, you got Indy Card Exchange, who's on the north side, who, let's say, they're the premier shop of Indy.
Right.
You have the Dugout on Washington Street, central Indianapolis, call it a mid-tier shop. And then you have a couple other ones sprinkled in around. but I can't think of, to your point, anything on the west side of Indy.
Well, the Washington Street's on the west side.
Yeah, Washington Street.
There's nothing on the east side.
So let's
Like
start.
southeast.
There's
There's some on the south side.
Yeah, there's some on the south side. Okay, so I can't think of anything in Brownsburg, Avon, Danville, Plainfield. Let's go Hendricks County first.
Yeah.
Nothing there.
Well, I was talking with Sarah about this. In Fort Wayne, you're talking about, I don't know, a quarter of the population of Indianapolis. But there's only really one shop in Fort Wayne, and it's a low-end shop. Like, not... I would say it's probably worse than the Dugout as far as its tier. So, truly, there's no premier shop in Fort Wayne as a potential location. Now, there's like B Sports, who does that show up on the north side, north of Fort Wayne, in Shipshewana. He does the show up there, but there's no shop around there. So that's literally it. I was thinking, is there a potential there? I know Slater's got one in Kokomo. I don't know.
But between Kokomo and Fort Wayne, you're right. There's nothing.
No.
So, but going to, when you think of, so first is location.
Yeah.
Second is, as you know, and I don't know if it's good timing, is, if you're going to be a big time shop, you need a distributor or multiple distributors.
Right.
And we don't know how that's going to change.
You got to put in a lot of money.
You have to put in a lot of money because
for now.
And listening to most card shops, they'll give you, like, as if you start out with a distributor, they're only going to give you like a 5% break on the product until you can prove that you can move that product and buy more. They're not going to give you the big time break until, who knows, 6 months in or so. So yes, you have to have a good amount of capital built up. But having a distributor is key. It's like racing. In racing, you need tools, you need oil. In sports card, you need product, and you need a good location.
Yeah.
So that's it. I'm trying to think what else would really think of.
I mean, from that aspect, you got to have cards. So you got to have thousands of cards, because you got to be able to have some high-end cards. You got to be able to have some mid-level cards. You got to be able to have some low-end cards. You got to be able to have dollar boxes and value boxes and rack packs and things like that, just for everybody. You got to get in with the distributor. That's going to change in 1-2 years anyway, right?
Yep.
When we talk about Fanatics, and then I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it.
There is, but I do think that if the card market continues on this trajectory, and I think if we play our cards right, I think it's something feasible for us. And I think,
I mean, I've thought about it as like if we went in and bought a shop, I think you would probably try to go full time into it, wouldn't you?
100%.
Me, I would probably, if we're going to go in on shop, I would probably be a shareholder in the company. I would probably be a part owner and help out and manage some of that stuff. But I think from an aspect of job security and just things like that, I could probably help own the shop and contribute that way, but I don't know if I could fully commit to that outside of it. Now, I would certainly be there in my off time.
Oh, for sure.
But with my job now, I think with my job, it gives a lot more flexibility. I have a lot of flexibility in my job, so I don't think it would necessarily hurt me, because I can still be in the shop in the mornings.
Yeah, and you think of I think of the major card shops that are run, they're not, let's say, normal hours. They're not 8 to 5 because during the weekday, people can't really come into a sports card shop at 9 o'clock in the morning. So it's a lot of, mid-afternoon to late night hours. And then obviously the weekends. I can't think of Ryan's times off the top of my head. I'm sure you know.
He's 12 to, I think, 6:30.
12 to 6:30. And he's closed on Mondays?
No, I think he's open 7 days a week now. So it's 12 to 6, and then it's like 12 to 5 on the weekends.
Which he's now got 13 employees?
He's got a ton. Double digits. I think he's got close to 10 employees, if not 10.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, if you wanted to do it right, you have to have a full-time person. You have to have, a guy who not only understands, the market itself, sports cards themselves, marketing the business, making sure what it looks like, customer relations, dealing with it. And, as far as everything else, like sports cards, the one thing that everybody gets into sports cards and forgets to do is keeping track of everything. Mm-hmm. Like that's the biggest pain that nobody talks about is you have to know. And that's a good lesson that I found out this weekend from Midwest was when big time guys make deals, they make sure that there's a picture with a text of what it sold for, what card it is, etc. Because you got to remember, you got to pay taxes on everything. Mm-hmm. So making sure that somebody's very organized in that sense, you got to make sure of. I think opening up a card shop would be great, especially if the market would hold and we keep going on that trajectory. It probably got to see how the Fanatics thing plays out first, but down the line, who knows?
Yeah, that's definitely an option I would like to explore. I think there's some other people that we know who could potentially be investors as well and contributing towards it.
Would you ever think of if there was, I don't even want to know if it would be called like a franchising opportunity, but let's say for an example, let's say Leparo went from a breaking side and wanted a brick and mortar business.
Would so you like top notch.
You have top notch breaks and you have top notch HQ.
Yeah, top notch shop.
Yeah. So would be interested in joining somebody like Leparo or Jared or Theth or the biggest thing in the community is banding together. Now you got to make sure in any form of business that everybody gets along, everybody's kind of on the same page of what the goals and the plan is and everything. So it generally all works together. But, I think you and me with the amount of contacts that we have in the business, in the community, even if we weren't able to, put on something for ourselves, but, be a top-notch shop or be a courtside pulls shop or insert X person we know or card collector 2 Indianapolis version.
Yeah.
Something like that. So I think that's another good play to make also because we go back to distributors, now you're getting twice the product. You have the franchise, the brick and mortar shop, and you have your break side because who knows? I don't even want to think. I know like Leparo's like $3.5 million a year or something like that.
I don't even know.
And then if he's not only just breaking, but he's also selling brick and mortar because, guys like Topps, guys like
Upper Deck.
I don't know Upper Deck because they care about the square footage when they do distribution deals.
You have to have a brick and mortar shop to get Upper Deck stuff.
So
they're dicks when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it. Slater was talking to me about that, and because he's got a massive amount of space.
Yeah,
and it's starting to grow slowly. But what are your thoughts on not just cards, but kind of like an indie card exchange of having memorabilia also?
I mean, I think every shop should have memorabilia that's for sale of some sort. Because
What would you say the percentage wise would be or should be? Like
I
an
don't know,
80-20?
5-10%. Not really much. I mean, it's kind of more decorative or anything, but it's also for sale.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
if you want
for sure.
something, sure.
Hey, it's just like everything's for sale at all times. But I do.
That's right.
I
Anything's
think
for sale for the right price.
I think you're right. Like if you did a deal of, let's say, Leaf full size autograph helmets, and you had the autograph helmets for sale, or Andy's shop with the frame jerseys.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Yep.
But who knows? Oh, there's a nice card shop now in Bloomington. It's called High Five Cards.
Oh, really?
Beautiful shop. Beautiful shop. And
I honestly need to venture out and get away and finally go to a show and go see some more shops.
Well, we get ready because you're not going to the National this year.
No, I can't. I got to figure out something else to do.
So
I
we get ready for
find my way down to Dallas or something.
So we get ready for the Midwest Monster, or do a little Kokomo show because they're once a month, and Slater's up to like 25 or 30 dealers per show.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to be a part of something.
So
I don't have crazy inventory, but I'm sure I can make stuff happen.
Well, I got dollar boxes for days. I just got to go through them.
Yeah, I'm sure we can put that together. So, what is your next play? What do you think? What do you sense is the right thing to do, or the right play, the next play in kind of this down market time? What do you think? Should we be pulling back? Should we be trying to buy up because things are slow? Trade up?
It's tough as the market drops. As the prices are dropping right now, like I saw a stat from, I think it was Slab Stocks, of prices 6 months to a year ago on LeBron Bowman's and Jordan 86 Fleers, and see what the prices were then and the prices are now. I mean, they're down almost 50%. So if that high end tier still continues to fall, it's not a bad idea to try to get a high end tier card and wait for that next rebound, because it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think the market, I'm not going to say it's market proof or it's economic proof, but it seems like there's this inverse relationship with cards and the economy. When the economy is going really well, people don't see a need for playing with sports cards. But when the economy's not going well, maybe there's this opportunity for people to buy and move things and try a different alternative method, because the stock market is down and crypto's down. So
yeah, it's just a wait and see. I think we've talked about this in plenty of podcasts of the ups and downs of the market, and even though it falls, you still see people buying. You'll see crazy Fortnite cards on an SGC 9.5 sell for $15,000 that you're just like, did not see that coming. So there's always people out there, but you always got to find the smart play. And what is your smart play? Like, mine is still buying up game use patch autos and talking to RibQ. Like, first year flawless is hard to find. So I'm trying to get up all the first year flawless I can find and stack up on it. You look at guys like, 5-star collector, and how he says he doesn't sell. Think about what he's sitting on. If he went to turn to sell his collection, what would a 400, 500 piece game use patch auto collection be worth?
I've heard through the grapevine that, and I cannot name my source, but I have heard that there might be a portion of that collection that gets sold.
Interesting.
I can't tell you what it would be, but I'm just saying there could be a portion that becomes market
Interesting,
available
because
tomorrow.
he has one of the best collections I've ever seen.
Did you get a chance to meet him at the Ben West Monster?
I did not. I was only there for
A few hours.
maybe 3 hours because of I had Wesley with me, and
Yeah.
he was good until about the very end.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did not. I wish I got to. You know, we've talked to ZJ on the podcast before. I love his collection. Like, every card he has is a banger. Doesn't matter if it's on card or not. Like,
Yeah, he's got some great stuff.
he's got the names of the names. Oh, what was it? Because your text to me, you wanted us to find a game used Reggie White. I
missed out on one.
I found a Reggie White, but it was not game used.
Yeah, it's the fabrics of the game, or I forget what the National Treasures one, the playoff one is called.
Leaf Limited.
There's two sets that has game used patch autos, and they're both numbered to what was his number again? 90. Was it 93 or 92?
Yep.
Yeah, they're both numbered to 92. They're sticker autos because you can't find Reggie White on card autos. There's not. But yeah, sticker autos, and man, I passed on a couple, and I still regret that. I got a Deacon Jones one coming, but
I got one. I love that Deacon Jones one. Leaf Limited by Donruss is also a good one to look for. They have a lot of the old school players, game use stuff. I have the Don Shula one, the Deacon Jones. Another
get
one.
Yourself a Jim Brown.
That's my next that I want. Like, even if it's
Jim Brown,
I don't have the money to get the flawless like you have, but you could get a Leaf Limited with the 20 with the patch in it and a sticker auto for less than $1,200. Jim Brown is a must-have in the collection. That's kind of my next big time card that I would really, really want. And if I could make some moves and do something at Slater's show, if me and Josh end up going, that's probably where I'm after next.
Yeah. There's a few guys in my defensive GOATs grouping that I'm collecting that I don't have, and it's Dick Butkus and Reggie White right now. I have Deacon Jones, but
now are you looking for a Butkus game? You're looking for a Butkus game used, correct?
Yeah, non-sticker. He has non-sticker autos. He has on-card autos.
Do you know if there's what are those out of? Flawless?
I don't. No. They're not flawless. They're old school ones. I think one of them is Leaf Limited. I think you're correct on that.
There's a Mike Singletary flawless game use that I'm looking at right now.
Yeah. See, I mean, for me, it's like the Urlacher I had was nice, and the Singletary that I've seen, a couple Singletaries that I've seen are nice, but I'm like, man, when it comes down to it, it's like the two best linebackers ever, Butkus, Ray Lewis, like unquestionable.
No Lawrence Taylor in there?
Well, Lawrence Taylor was a defensive end linebacker. I mean, he's kind of in the outside linebacker hybrid defensive end category.
Yep.
So, I mean, I already have one of him.
Yeah, you do. That's true.
Yeah, and I think it's sealed. I think it's a sealed one.
I got one too. I got one from Leaf Limited.
Yeah.
So I tried. Yeah, so I have my Ray Lewis. I have a Ray Lewis. I have a Lawrence Taylor. Just got that Lance Briggs because I don't have an Urlacher yet. I passed on one, which I'm kicking myself for. It was a 2-color patch BGS 9.5 for like, I think it was 500 or 450 or something like that.
Yeah.
Passed on that. So
the other thing is Deion Sanders, which I had one I passed up on. I need to get one back. I think I can get one back from Jared if he hasn't sold that one yet. Deion Sanders.
The Falcons one?
Yeah. But I wanted Deion Sanders, like Cowboys,
because that's how I remember him.
Yeah. Cowboys Deion Sanders. And then I got to find Champ Bailey.
I got one. Veritex.
Yeah.
Quad
I need
patch.
to find a Champ Bailey. That would be nice.
Champ
I
Bailey
think
would be nice.
Jalen Ramsey's making a name for himself, but there's no game use patch.
You're not going to get anything game used, which sucks. Now,
No.
I did see something on Instagram that they put in this year's Flawless. There's game use stuff of Carson Wentz
Maybe because he's trash and nobody
I
wants
know that
his
he's
stuff.
trash, but it's like if they're putting game use stuff in new Flawless, I'm gonna have to look at this new stuff.
I've heard that it's mostly player worn and it's rare. It's the no name guys who have game use stuff. So like Carson Wentz, because no one wants to buy his jersey, so the NFL or Panini buys it back for $500, and they're like, okay, we can put some of this in here.
Do you think the prices for like Flawless for Prism right now, you think they're too ridiculous?
Yeah, I think a lot of football is inflated right now. I think the only thing that's probably appropriate, no, actually I take that back. I think everything is still quite inflated when it comes to 2020. 2020 I think is a little better. Because there's a lot. There's a really good class.
I don't disagree with you. Flawless cases right now are 28,000 a piece, or 30,000. You could sell them for 28. But you're starting to see hobby boxes come back down in certain points. Football, we took a year ago. When we first started this thing, basketball drove the market. Now it's all football. Football is driving.
I think people are tired of basketball right now. I think a lot of people got into the market right when the whole Zion train came, and they loaded up on Zion and they held Zion, and he is crashed to the earth. And when he crashed, a lot of other people are holding the bag, so they're stuck. And a lot of people are stuck on basketball, and they're trying to move it out and just cut their losses, I think, at some point, or just holding it in hopes that it goes back up. But
also, big
football
hype
is
train.
definitely.
We saw like when WWE Prism got released, the massive hype train that was, and then hobby boxes were $1,200-$1,500 a piece. Now they've kind of come back down to earth. They're about $400 now, but I think you see that with a lot of the new
pump and dump.
Yeah, pump and dumps. Bowman Sapphire, Bowman Chrome's out for baseball. Even some of the soccer stuff is crazy. But
yeah, I've listened to
football.
Yeah, have you seen so Sports Cards Nonsense with Mike Gio and Jesse? They have on periodically a soccer collector who is well versed in the community, but lives over in Europe, and he gives the European side of things. And I think it helps to truly get a grasp on the soccer market from that perspective, because the soccer market here in America is purely pumped by what the media drives, and the media drives Team USA. Where in Europe, it's like, if it's not a Team USA member, they don't care. Like, they don't care about that stuff. They care about the next really good player who they go and see, because a lot of those guys, they have, they have U19 teams that people go and watch. So they know about the next good players.
The prospects.
Here in America, the only thing we know is who's playing on our MLS teams who might have a chance to go over and play in Europe.
Yeah.
So we get a completely different narrative than what the European soccer community sees. And to my point, they said a lot of these new soccer releases, UEFA, Champions Leagues, Bundesliga, it's all trash, because it's not a good class. There's nobody good in the class. So it gets pumped up from our side of things, and then people realize, oh, it's not really that great.
No. Oh, I understand. Still holding for World Cup though. I still holding
I'm interested to see when that starts to pick up.
Yeah.
Being that's November, right?
November, correct.
So
because there was a big lull after UEFA.
yes,
Like Josh said, you know, there's nothing that they're going to be doing for a while. So
right.
you're, especially in soccer, you're at a holding pattern, or if things are cheap enough, buying. You know, I got a couple Mbappe's hanging out. I got my Kai Havertz, got some Pulisic's just hanging out for November, and kind of that was my goal going into this year. That was going to be the play. Now, if I can move them, say November by the end of the year, you know, maybe I'll be able to catch the tail end of the NFL season, and next off season for the NFL will be my
Well,
buying.
you could probably buy into the midseason lull in the NFL.
True.
Which would be a great time to buy going into the playoffs when you actually
True.
see which teams are good or which quarterback got their leg rolled on and is now sitting in a handicap chair.
Yeah.
Could be a good time.
Could be. Now, be interesting. It'd be a good, interesting time to see. That's my game plan. That and continuously to pick up. You know, I've realized that I've picked up a lot of baseball lately. A lot of baseball flawless.
Yeah, why is that? It's
To me,
unlicensed product.
It's unlicensed product, but the way Flawless does it, it's hard to unless you're really, really looking, it's hard to tell. I mean, the patches are wonderful, and I think the price point is unbeatable. The Miguel Tejada out of 15 or out of 10 quad auto with let's see, it's got a bat, 2 jerseys, and a laundry tag on card. You know, it was less than $50. The Bobby Abreu out of 5, 2 massive patches, multicolored and inscribed. It was under $100. The Sammy Sosa on card, Cubs game used jersey out of 5. I got it for $200. Like, when you think of, and as we grew up, when you thought of baseball, you thought of McGuire and Sosa. Like, to me, when I think of baseball, I still think of McGuire and Sosa. So cards like that, and Griffey, Griffey. Maybe a little bit of Barry Bonds. I know Squints is on the Barry Bonds.
Yeah,
thing.
he is hanging from Barry Bonds' wiener. That is 100% sure.
So, but that's where we grew up in those sports. So, if I could get, a McGuire, I got that Sosa, I think baseball is a sneaky play, even though that it's unlicensed for Panini. I just think that it's all game used products. So it's kind of like, it's hard to pass on for the price point.
Yeah.
And especially if I'm going to resell it, like if I'm buying it for $35, there's no reason why I shouldn't be able to sell this with the rest of my football cards for over $100.
Yeah. No, you make a good point.
Now, one thing I would really like to get into that I had been searching for when I couldn't find any football that I enjoy, that I think would be a great play, is hockey. The problem is I just don't know. I'm not as well versed. Besides some of the big name, like I passed on Tyler. Is it Seguin?
Seguin. Tyler Seguin.
For this, he was in Dallas Stars jersey, so it was a game used Dallas Stars one. Obviously, if you could find Sid, McDavid, and Ovechkin, those are your monies. But unless you're balls deep in the hockey game, it's like soccer. A lot of players, a lot of teams.
Yeah, I only collect. I mean, you know me. The only people that I collect are my Avs players. So whether we win or lose, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
Now, we've been better here recently, and I've collected before we were really that good. But that's just kind of always been my thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes you ride the waves of those things, but yeah, I mean, your Ovi, Gretzky, Sid, and you can even throw McDavid in there now. I mean, those are your big big names.
What's your thoughts real quickly on the university products, the Bowman universities?
Trash.
I think it's another play of trying to get money. It's got the NIL stuff. Like,
Yep.
it's kind of like when people do draft, like the college jersey stuff, whether it be basketball or football. Like, that thing's hot until they get to the pro leagues, and then it's not worth anything, no matter how you try to sell it.
It's weird because it's Bowman and it's unlicensed, and it's just
Guys who aren't even professionals yet.
yeah. I mean, those people could literally, like, all of a sudden, I don't know, get caught doing something stupid, and all of a sudden they're done and they never play again in college, and they're not even playing for a championship. You know, and I think you know this more than anything. College football really revolves around 3 or 4 teams at most.
Yeah.
At most, if not just 2.
Yep.
2.5. A third team. We'll say Ohio State's the third team.
Yeah.
But really, it revolves around, you know, Alabama, this year Georgia, but the other team would be Clemson normally, and then Ohio State. And it's those 3 teams.
Yeah.
And occasionally you'll get another one. And
you saw by the NIL deal, especially for the video game coming out next year, you know, I think 120 out of 134 teams have signed on. And there's 4 different tiers of how those teams are going to get paid for being in the game, anywhere from $100,000 to, I think, $10,000 is the lowest. So, you know, this whole NIL thing, everybody's going to get their money and this and that. And I think sports cards, they try to do the same thing.
Yep. Yeah,
so
I agree. It's just another way to make money, I guess.
It is. So
whatever.
All right. Well, we'll let you get back to watching your Avs. Hopefully try to win Lord Stanley's Cup.
We gotta play better in the second period, because first period Tampa Bay really looked a lot better than us.
We want to thank our friends at My Slabs for sponsoring us continuously. They are now over 50,000 users. So My Slabs, you can sell your slabbed cards, your raw cards. You could sell lots. You could sell graded comic books. Now they have a new tier. If your card is worth 60,000 or more, there's a new tier, new showcase for it. Go to myslabs.com, check it out. You have to be a verified user to make sure that you're not a scumbag like the people you deal with on eBay. So that's really great to deal with, because you know My Slabs and their customer service is impeccable. If you're not paying in 24 hours or 48 hours or shipping in those times, they will boot you off and get your money back, which is awesome. Also, got to thank our friends at protectyourslabs.com, aka Slab Savers. If you've ever checked out our stuff on Instagram, me and Neil's cases and graded cases, you know, they make premium products, making sure your investments are taken care of at all times. And Graded Card Solutions. If you follow Top Notch Sports Break, you saw that Anthony Laparo gave a shout out to our boys at Graded Card Solutions. They have one of their boxes get run over by the delivery truck, and the slab was absolutely fine. So spend the money, protect your slabs, go to gradedship.com, use code DREAM15. You're going to get 15% off. And finally, Nation Golf, especially with the PGA and the Live Tour going on. Look like a gentleman. Follow the golden age of golf. Go to nationgolfcompany.com. Until next week, Neil, I'm sure there'll be some more stuff to come up. So we are still thinking of maybe a card shop in the near future. Hopefully your abs win tonight, and we get you out of the house and go to a card show soon.
Yes, please.
All
Come
right.
rescue me.
Until next time, we're out.